with just a lot of little fiddling around, but I'll explain sort of what I did. This was the first map that I got. It looked very nice and open with a nice hill here in the middle. Not a lot of rough ground. So I decided to go with a fairly heavy horse, get the cavalry out here. Hey, Ouch Cube, how you doing? And Jam today, how you doing? So, a lot of horse, but since we had a nice hill, thought I'd take advantage of it. Fighting uphill, some of the archers and crossbowmen can sort of kind of do okay, but a lot of firepower. So we're going to move these troops up and occupy the hill. Got a couple of the heavy armored spearmen to sort of hold up here to be the sort of prominent elements. These light skirmish horses are just to sit back here and sort of say, yeah, refuse our left kind of thing. Don't let them come in. Hey, Beam Slam. And so we're going to hit here. Now I want to wheel out all of these horse and come around and try to roll up their line. But with my experience so far with the game is that enemy skirmisher horse can end up being sort of a jiu-jitsu move in that I've got to clear them out of the way, so send the heavy horse in, but they run away and the heavy horse chases, and so a skirmisher leads away a main impact unit. So I've got some skirmish horse out here in front to hopefully confront whatever light skirmish horses that we will be facing. Hey, Chaplain for Bacchus and Scooter McThunder is here. Great. Hello. And so we've got military order of knights, some sort of regular knights and sergeants, some city knights and sergeants, I guess. I don't know. They're a bit lighter, obviously. I don't know what the background is for them. And then some sergeants here as lancers to sort of fill out the bulk. But we can see these 5 units are our main sort of hitting component. So we will see how this goes. Except, and I'm only wasting 9 points. Don't know that I could really upgrade anything effectively. So we'll accept that. Okay, we can add 2 more generals. Well, so we have 1 general there for that unit. We have this general here. Let's put 1 here. That will maybe turn that into a better fighting unit, and 1 here. Some of the others I remember. Oh, you're still talking about the old comics, yeah. I used to read War Games Illustrated and similar sorts of British publications a lot back in the day myself. That's where my sort of reading was a bit more that. Okay, so let's, and I don't know, I presume lots of troops, because we've gone sort of a little bit more for quality over quantity. Okay, so light horse along here, or medium, or whatever you want to call horse here. Spearmen intermixed with archers, more spearmen. Okay, those could be a little problem. That's sort of why I want to wheel with the horse around. Got some skirmishers, some horse skirmishers, and some light archers there. Ooh, they have knights and sergeants of their own. How interesting. Okay. right. And yes, I like to micromanage it. Let's get these guys sort of up here. Some slingers just to sort of mess with them a bit. It's going to be a bit of a ragged line as we sort of follow the hill here. Got these raw spearmen just to sort of plug gaps that may form. I think, yeah, we'll move these guys up too. So I do want to keep them back here, but I think we want to just try to be able to sort of engage things in that field. Now, over here. Okay, we got all of these guys over to the rough terrain, so come out there and face. Right. How far forward do I go with these guys? I don't know if I can move faster than they can get in. But I am hoping to do something sort of like this and wheel these guys out. Yeah. Maybe I should have wheeled these guys a little bit further out around. We could do that next turn. I do so love the look of this game. But they just all stood there? Okay. Well, thank you for letting me do what I want. There weren't enough maneuver room for my maneuver. No, they can sort of stay that way. Suppose they could turn this turn. What's been like a bunch of publications of the war comics from the 60s, is it? In Danish. You may have had other names in English. Interesting there. Yeah, they used to print these things called books. They were made out of paper and yeah, still high enough. You didn't have to have a computer to read them, or a phone, or a tablet. You could just open them up. These guys come to here. Hey, thanks for following the channel. Yeah, again, I want to just keep these guys back here. And these guys to use their firepower. Well, we can move them up. No, we'll keep them here. We may move them up in a bit. Alright. And now we have them reacting to us. Those just where they are. And they fell back, okay, not maybe what I wanted to have happen. This is not quite what I was hoping for. That didn't work out the way I wanted it. So I'm not going to have it happen again. I wanted it more facing that way. Those guys hanging back there. Sergeants. Okay, now they're moving up. I'm going to shoot our skirmishers. Oh! Okay, big time move up. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to have happen there. Right, well, we're going to evade. These guys are going to clear out there. Good. We're going to at least do that. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to be chasing those guys all over the place. But what I think I might be able to do is that, and the health frame. Wow, those guys. Just remember, no plan survives contact with the enemy, unless it's the Battle of Cannae, but then it may be silliness. Yeah, we'll turn on throw, actually, yeah. We're going to stay right sort of like that. These guys are going to come up here and shoot them in the face. These guys are going to come up here and do the same. Okay, now over here we're going to move these guys here and face them this way. We'll get these guys up here. All right. No, it isn't worth wasting some of my early shots on them. The AI thinking? Kill the skirmishers, definitely thinking that. They kept their hope, now they're moving their knights. So these are the things I didn't want to have happen, get them out of place. That won't be the worst thing there. Okay. We're going to charge into them. They're not doing so well. Okay, now they break routing. Well, good. Yeah, these two units are way out of place from what I wanted. Doesn't mean the battle's lost or anything like that. These guys are going to fall back to here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't want to worry about those already broken horse. No. No. What we are going to do though is turn like that to better facing. Now let's see how this goes. They're evading. Good, they charged impact on those guys. Good. Hello. Ardennen one, how you doing? Okay, well, let's see, which one do we want to... That one's slightly better, I think. The result, but no. We're going to be good either way. But they're just mostly sacrificial units. Right. That way now. I know these guys are behind me, but I'm just deciding not to care. Win the impact, lose, likely draw, lose. Let's try this. Flank, and then see if they go on to something else more interesting. Well, that certainly did. Wow. Wow. These guys chasing off here, I'm not that worried about them. Chasing these guys that are out of position. Yeah, alright. Just overheating, yeah, summer's here. Fortunately, where I'm living, things are good here in Southern California right now. Not the best result, but yeah, didn't figure they'd last long against those two units. Wow, okay, good. Now, so that's just what I don't want to deal with here. These guys now, well, they're a little bit trapped, so they're gonna, these guys are gonna face this way, and they're going to shoot there. These guys are going to turn and give them the flank. Yeah. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. They were going to follow them off the map. These guys are still pursuing there. Yeah, turn and shoot. Battle's nasty there. And here. Yeah, these guys. Yeah, break, run. Run, save yourselves. We'll see all this muddled. Those guys, okay. Yeah, I thought that might happen. They attacked in the rear. Oh, Lieutenus. We gotta save these knights. See what we can do here. Now, we're gonna step these guys. Yeah, well, first, let's shoot them. Okay, well, auto braking. We're disrupted. Good. You guys, yeah, run away. Let's see the order of. I'll just ride up and throw sticks at them. Yeah, I know I gave him my back, but whatever. And throw more sticks at those guys. No, wrong way. I want you to go this way. Don't follow them. Oh boy. They can't quite get to there. Let's... I know this is not a very good, but I was hoping to do that to these guys. No. We've already got one. Okay, well these guys are coming this way. Alright. Move unit. Yep, gave him my back, but these guys are coming. These guys are coming this way. Hey, Jaculius! Welcome to the 13th century. We are on the plains of Castile. And we are trying to defeat the Muslim hordes. Yeah, none of these look particularly good, but we'll go with the weakest one first. Okay. Yeah, these guys just got way too... Yep, here we go. So far my grand wheeling movement has not worked out. Not that I'm going to lose necessarily, but... Well, when I'm playing on Baron difficulty, it's sort of in the middle there of difficulty. Okay. Throw pointy sticks. Throw pointy sticks. that at least got the job of getting these guys off our backs for the moment. Okay. This is the loss of that unit's hurt the most. They're covering there, they're covering there. Now let's come over here. Let's turn and shoot that unit. Seems they all go down to hell, yeah. We can pull this up. You know, it's way too early to declare victory, that's for sure. Okay, well, we're just going to okay. Yeah, I figured they would evade, but and they pushed to there. This is all pretty weak out here. These guys are going to turn this direction to be ready to march and face there. I think we'll win this, yes, likely. Okay, they held firm, but we did a lot of damage to them. What am I forgetting to do that I should do? That's a scary unit, but we'll see how this goes. Yeah, they pushed up to the top, but that's sort of why I didn't move these guys on. Yeah, you can get those skirmishers in the rear. All right. Watch out for them. These are big ass sub-general and knights and sergeants, not the city knights. So we're going to figure they would evade and hopefully charge. Okay, they fall back into there. That might have not been the best option then. Move here, throw your sticks. Throw your sticks. Mostly just keep those guys busy. Damn, that did not go well for us. Concentrating my firepower. Now, since all of our horse are doing well over there, we're going to move you off the hill. Get ready to come into the flanks there a bit. Come on guys, rally. Now they're disrupted. I think a lot of us are the old guys here. Quite honestly. I really hope we're not aging out the demographic for oh, there's that happened. Okay, well. No, I wanted to join in with these guys there. And then these guys can come here and get them. Oh, that worked out well. Strategy and tactics, yeah. That was the good magazine as well. Like, yeah, you would be doing that sooner or later. Okay, I don't think there's anything else we really Oh, this unit here. Let's just face that way. See what these guys do. I want to keep them off my backs of all these units. Okay, those horse just attacked our skirmishers, so that's fine. I'm good with that. Okay, they evaded off the map. These guys are sword fighting everybody. Oh, damn. The military order of knights is really taking a beating. Now they break. Enemy general has fallen. Wow, that's useful. That's very useful. Okay, these guys. No, they're disrupted. They're not doing so great, but... About chaos control, yes, it very much is, I think. Hello, Blast Pop, how you doing today? Reading and games list shows that, yeah. Yeah, I remember the olden days. Okay, let's face these guys, because they look fearsome. I think they'll sit back here. These guys will turn and shoot. I think they'll turn and throw. Yeah, not go well, I'm sure. Yeah, break. That's why I have these heavy defensive spearmen here. Yeah, some of you guys are even a little older than I am. Unfortunately for me growing up, some of those great magazines that you're talking about, I did read some, did get some. I still think I have most of the ones that I got, but they were so expensive getting the British magazines over here in California. Yeah, charge. I don't want to just sit back there and get sniped at all the time. There we go. These guys have not fired yet. Do we go after them or not? I don't know that any of these are really... How many? Oh, we have one good turn left to fire. Let's turn and face that way. I know you're down there. Okay. Oh, very good. Oh, good. They're still routing. They're dispersing. Yeah, we should have some people flying up into heaven. And my military order of knights guys rallied. Well, now... turn that way. Yeah. These guys are going to turn that way. Face them. Okay, these guys are going to charge. Hopefully breaking them. Okay, well, they're going to charge. And now these guys are going to charge. And these guys can't, no. But they can hit them. Getting out of position, but these guys are fairly weak at the moment. very good. Well, that certainly cleans out some of these positions here. Okay, we're gonna first fire on them. Now we're going to turn this way. It seemed to be fun to go to Copenhagen. Wouldn't mind doing that someday. Okay, we actually came out relatively well on that. And great on that one. Hopefully the unit that they chased off will come back next turn. Yes, we just flanked attack on their knights. These guys go ragged. Look out for bicycles. Yeah, they might come in huge masses. In my very limited driving around European cities, most of the time the thing I found the hardest thing to do dealing with cars is finding a damn place to park. That was always my trouble. Maybe it's just always that way, or maybe there's some trick that the Europeans know how to do that I don't. Okay. Yes, by this we're doing fairly well, but let's see. It doesn't feel that way. Never got my good wheel movement onto these guys with my horse. Oh, they're back. Oh, they finally dispersed. Get more cars Nah, I think cars are great. I think cars are wonderful. Okay, we'll see about that attack. But first, let me look. Break routing. Yes, the idea is to pummel them with arrows. They break, they charge, they break, they held firm. Well, that went very well. Oh, we can't, okay. I have to get you out of the way. Well, I guess we can move you to here and shoot. Let's shoot at that ragged bunch. That way they can be up there for next turn, if there is a next turn. Let's at least shoot them. Okay, they auto break. They held firm, but they took a lot of damage. Okay. Generals really making this hold out. I think we're going to just shoot them. Okay, good. Now here, nope, I'm not going to go out. That. We'll move that up to the AI. We have fired on that thing. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I think we've won. How do you cope with speed in Europe? I found it quite fun. I was driving around Europe at about 110 miles an hour. Couldn't really get the car. I had a Golf, VW Golf driver. It was about, I went to live in Britain for, well, it was less than 6 months, but, and so I got a sort of a long-term rental car there. And it was about, I'm a Californian. We don't drive sticks here. I mean, I've driven a stick a few times, and trying to drive it, and it was a British car, trying to drive a stick on the wrong side, I didn't need that challenge. So I got an automatic, about the cheapest automatic I could. I could maybe get the car up to 120 on the roads, on the highways in Europe, but it drove mostly around at about 110 miles an hour. The worst sort of day I had driving was around Florence. Couldn't find this one street that was about a block long because at either end of the street it was named different things. So I finally parked the car and because I knew where it was and walked there. And when I was driving by it, the street sign said X, and I should have been able to turn because it was a one way. I couldn't turn from the other way, but it said a different thing. And okay, you get the point. But driving around Rome was fairly chaotic. Again, this is with a British, steering wheel side car, and very chaotic as in roads would be coming along, and then they would sort of like open up because there's an old aqueduct or viaduct or whatever, and so to go in between the things and then get back together. Very chaotic that way. A bit more chaotic driving, I would say, in Paris. So my driving, because I took the car and with a buddy who flew over from America. I had been living on my own in Britain, but he flew over from America, and then we went on a European holiday towards the end of my staying in Britain, and drove around places like that. Drove out to Berlin and wherever. So I've driven around a good chunk of France, Germany, Austria, Italy, that on my own. And I've taken coach tours, and I've taken train trips to cities and such like that over the different years, and went a lot to Britain. And so the first time I got in a British, right-hand drive car, I had originally planned to get it, pick up a rental. This was a time earlier, a trip, more than one trip. One of my early trips to Britain. And I was planning on, I had it scheduled to pick up in Edinburgh. And I was planning immediately getting out of town to figure out, how to drive. But for some reason, I don't remember exactly what it was, but from where I picked up the car, I had to go to somewhere on the other side of Edinburgh. So driving across Edinburgh on the wrong side of the road, that was an interesting trip. I was quite shocked that I made it without hitting anything. Now, it wasn't going to be like a massive accident, but just, without even hitting anything minor. So, yeah. Yeah, I've even driven around the Arc de Triomphe. That was exciting, especially with a guy on a bicycle, sort of also going around at the same time. Yeah, and the people reacting to him. Yeah, that was sort of interesting. So yeah, I've driven around Europe. I'm hoping to go back sometime once COVID's over, but it's been it's probably been about 20 years since I've been in Europe. Or Britain, if you consider Britain part of Europe. I don't know how you want to categorize that, but yeah. There's still so many places I want to go see, like Normandy, both for the old Norman castles and that kind of stuff, but it's, for, all the battles, that we talk about. I want to go sort of on a Battle of the Bulge tour. I don't need to do that in winter, but I want to do that. I did go to, the Waterloo battle thing in Belgium. So there's a bunch of stuff I really want to do sometime. Okay, yeah. Jam today. Yeah, oh yeah, that's where I lived. I mean, that was the first time I had my biggest problem when I was living in Edinburgh was parking the damn car every night and moving it in the day and whatnot, and figured if I was driving around there, if I could park within 3 blocks of where I wanted to go, I was doing reasonably good for parking in Edinburgh. So yeah, but it was because there isn't a very good train system in Scotland compared to England. It was very good to have a car because I was going out to around Fort William a lot and other places along the Great Glen. One area I've been to Aberdeen, basically once, but the sort of northeast coast of Scotland I've not done a whole lot. One day I wanted to go to, this was before there was much of an internet. I mean, the internet existed, but www had not yet existed. So the World Wide Web not yet existed when I was there. So I was spending a lot of time going to old bookstores, looking for books on the Jacobites. And I have a collection of them that I got there and other times. So you couldn't find them like on the internet or whatever like you can today. So I got in the car, wanted to go check out some bookstores in Glasgow. So, drive from Edinburgh to Glasgow, not that long. I don't know, after about 40 minutes or so of driving around Glasgow looking for a parking place, I decided to turn around and head back to Edinburgh. I don't like Glasgow. Yeah, that wasn't a good, and that was more about finding parking and whatnot, but yeah, I'm not terribly fond of Glasgow. Spent 6 weeks touring the States. Driving was relatively easy over there as the road. Yeah, American cars are amazing. Best cars I've tried was the T-Bird. Yeah, I had a fairly oldish T-Bird years ago now. Yeah, compared to Europe, you can get cities with problems like New York or San Francisco driving and parking, but much of America, especially the West Coast, is built based on the scale of the automobile. That's why these eco-nuts are trying to get us to ride bikes here, but the scale of the city in LA area, greater LA, is not meant for bicycles. It's a stupid idea. They take away one lane on each side of the road for bicycles, and you can see maybe one person riding in the bike lane on either side in the middle of the day, and there's no rush hour they're eco-nuts. I mean, there's sensible, clean environment stuff to do, absolutely, but these people are trying to get us out of our cars. The city's not built for it. This isn't San Francisco, this isn't New York, or this isn't someplace in Europe where bicycles can make sense, but LA is not meant that way. The whole infrastructure, there's some sort of mass, or there's the Blue Line and a few other rail lines, mostly above ground, but they're just minimal arteries that very few people use. Everything else is highways to get around here. So, yeah. I once ended up in the middle of Paris in a car by mistake. That was before GPS and that stuff. Oh yeah, well, all my driving there was before GPS was any sort of a thing. Yeah. Yeah, trains can be a very nice way to travel if they go to where you want them to go. And you can get around once you're there, and that I would say would fulfill much of Europe. But in America, trains are not a terribly good idea because they move about at the same speed of automobiles, and you might as well just rent a car if you're like traveling here from Europe. Drive between the cities because you're going to need to drive around the cities anyways. So yeah, trains are at least west of the Mississippi and probably west of Appalachia as well. And it's just sort of the Washington D.C. to New York, maybe up to Massachusetts corridor. That's trains would make sense as a traveling idea, really. Yeah, there used to be a lot of old used bookstores. I used to haunt them all when I was there, and then I would, for about 10 years, I was at least once a year traveling back to Britain for various reasons. I think it was 3 trips in 1 year was the most. But yeah, I had my books to go, whether for the old Jacobite books that I was hunting up or just other good old, military history type books, and knew where they all were. I don't know how many are still existing nowadays with the internet. London now has, yeah, I've heard about the London Anglo-Saxon cycle lanes, and it's not a good idea because it's not efficient. London has a great underground, and I liked it when I was there as a tourist. You can get like a pass, per week to take the underground for, you obviously paying for it up front, but each, it's a flat rate for like a week or whatever it is. And I was able to use that to get around so easily to rarely need, because again, like sometimes when I would travel over there, I would like, oh, I'm going to spend like 2 days or 3 days in London and then go somewhere else. And then I might have schedule my rental car to start once I'm leaving London, because I didn't want to have to rent the car, park it somewhere, and pay to park it all day. So it was just, so traveling around London by underground, that's great. And then walking, okay, that's great. It's designed for that. And then whether it's a taxi cab or people who have cars and are willing to pay, park and whatnot, in sort of, the city of London or the different Westminster and the different cities around Greater London, whatever it's costing to move around there, or you even have buses. So, that makes sense. But trying to force cycling into a city like London that has that underground mass transit that's organized for it is just idiotic to the level that they're doing, and at least that I've been seeing that they're doing from things on TV and whatnot, or YouTube and things. Yes, U.S. cities are built for cars. UK's are built for horses and carts. Bicycles are bad enough, but these days it's all about the electric kick scooters due to the green propaganda. I predict a slaughter. They're dangerous for pedestrians. Yeah. How do I put this? Electricity can be a very good and useful power supply, but how are you generating that electricity? And again, I'm all for good, effective measures for a nice, clean environment. Okay. Now, what I may consider a clean environment, you may consider a clean environment, maybe two different things and whatnot. There's a lot of debate or whatnot there. But if you're talking about solar, I think the damage to the environment of making the solar cells is greater than most, clean burning power plants are, and they last just a few years, like 10 years or whatever, and they start to deteriorate. So solar isn't very good. Wind is damaging to the environment with all the windmills. So you're burning coal or you're burning fossil fuel. So yeah, electric isn't cleaner necessarily now, because they're not doing nuclear power. In General Braddock, he was a general in the French and Indian Wars in America here. If I'm remembering right, during the 7 Years' Wars in Europe, 7-year wars. If that's who I get interested in, General Braddock. That's the only thing I'm coming up with right offhand. Okay, well, back to the game. I normally don't talk too much politics here on Slytherin, because it's not my channel. I do, mentioning that, I do talk while playing, because warfare is a political act, and so I try to understand the context that the wars were happening in, whether they're, in the 13th century, the 1200s, or things during and leading up to World War II. You can, I know many of you already are, but you can, subscribe over on YouTube and follow on Twitch to get where I try to put things into context here. And quite honestly, I'm sort of stretching a bit because I knew I didn't have enough time, and my stream time ends at 12, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who is coming up after me, like I think a lot of us do, because we're focused, we see beforehand. So yeah, don't know much about Braddock right offhand. I mean, obviously, the name rang a bell, and the French and Indian Wars seemed about right. British general. That's about as far as I can go. So yeah, a little bit. Most of my study was, I'm not active. Yeah, I do read. I read a book last year, so I'm still reading about the Jacobites. It was up until the Jacobites of 1745, 1746, Battle of Fontenoy, which was leading up to the French victory at Fontenoy allows the French to have the breathing room to sponsor the Jacobite rebellions of 1745 or risings. So they hit us in the back and broke us down. Okay, wow. Well, good. At least you broke those guys. You're routing. The enemy has lost heart. We are victorious. All right. Okay. Do you wish to accept the victory gracefully and let the enemy withdraw with further bloodshed? Yeah. Yes, we can do this. Okay, so we were on difficulty at Baron. I'm getting better at this. We were playing Castilian. Let's review the battlefield. Okay, so these guys took a hammering. These were meant to be my main sort of impact, but they ended up being hammered. They were intended to be my hammer, but they ended up being hammered, but still. Allowed for that. Okay, so my great wheel maneuver just didn't happen. Now, we were successful over on our right here, that's for sure. But I was really hoping to swing it all in on here. Now our light cavalry here. Now, yeah. During much of the Reconquista, it was power relationships, a lot of it to do. And it wasn't all purely Christian versus Muslim. Though that is sort of the crusade element of it. And I know a lot of both the Christians and the Muslim leaders were, and it varies at times, and I'm not an expert. I've read, the Osprey Men at Arms book years ago now on, some of this stuff. But there were often alliances and sort of the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation. So both alliances and, so one Christian baron who has a different Christian baron as an enemy, and there's some Muslim attacking him, army, he may come in and, help out there. So it wasn't quite what it becomes, shall we say, either very late reconquest, or post conquest with the Catholic Church setting up basically a purge of all non-Christians, and the Inquisition starts basically as a trying to root out Muslim influences, and then it expands into rooting out Jewish influences. So that's sort of the context, but it wasn't as blatant or as a universal thing. I like to study and look at all this in a cultural viewpoint, and the Arab culture at the time was generally at the higher level. So we're not talking about the peasants on either side, because both sides had peasants as you would think of them, but at the higher levels, the Muslim culture was what we would consider more advanced. I would say many more of the Muslim leaders would be able to read and write. They had gotten a huge impact of taking out Byzantine cities with all of their learning. And that really spreads out through the Muslim world. And you get that, but you have, shall we say, to move it sort of like in World War II terms, supply lines becoming long. And although you weren't making a batch of arrows back in Baghdad and transferring them all the way across North Africa to Spain or something like that, but you did have reinforcements from both sides pouring into Spain, and the supply lines are shorter, obviously coming into Spain from places like France. But you'll note that basically, because of the backwardness, as I would say, we're just about done here, the backwardness of Europe at that time keeps them from pushing back into North Africa, because today we sort of see North Africa as, Muslim lands, and Europe is Christian. Yeah, but if you look back before it, you'll see North Africa. Now I start blanking on one of the. There's a lot of Christian thinkers coming out of Egypt, coming out of places like what is modern day Tunisia, out of North Africa. That was very Christian. So there was no, at this time, sense that North Africa is Muslim and should stay that way, and Europe should be Christian and should stay that way. It was a flow back and forth. And it really isn't until the fall of Constantinople and all of that knowledge, all the people fleeing that bring the knowledge into Europe, that you have the Renaissance. So yes, okay, Hexaboo, yes, I am basically done here. So thank you all very much.